And welcome to First Unitarian Church in Wilmington, Delaware. A welcome to all of you who are present in this room. A welcome to those of you who join us online through the feed. We are a welcoming church. You're a stranger here only once. When you return, you're part of the community. And community is what we are. We don't count beliefs, check them off to meet the doxa. We welcome you to community first. And community we are. Welcome on this day with whatever the needs and joys that you bring. A couple of announcements. If you've been watching the screen, either at home or here in the sanctuary, a number of these things will be familiar, but and not perhaps news to you, but a couple of them need a punch. Our guest speaker today is one of our own, Kate Franta, And Kate will be presenting to us 9 principles, 9, count them as they go, principles of health from the blue zone folks. Now, you're going to need to pay attention to learn about the blue zone folks and how they may advise us. And Kate is also a worship associate, and we have a number of us worship associates in the room, including one who will speak to us next week, Adris Harrell, and you need to be here for that. Am I normal? I'll speak for myself. I'll see you here. Coming up in August will be a live stream adult education opportunity, which you can read more about in the e-news as well as on the screen both before and after our services. So I'll let you read more about that, but just beware, and registrations are being taken, I believe, for that at this point. So one last thing, and it is worthy of humble acknowledgement on our part. UUSC, the Unitarian Universalist Service Committee, has designated First Unitarian Church of Wilmington, us, as Church of the Year in the denomination. That's a worthy acknowledgement goes to all of you who participate in the service projects or support them. Special thanks, I think, need to go to Doyle Dobbins and Beverly Baxter, who are like our mascots for UUSC in this congregation and inspire us. And it's a notable acknowledgement, and we should be grateful for that. At this time, let us prepare our hearts and minds for worship. Come, you who have been left behind in the rush of social trivia, come. You who have met met life's challenges and succeeded, come. You whose childhood has left you wounded, come. You whose family health has sustained you through decades, come. You whose strain carrying life's burdens and sorrows, come. You whose days are joyous and bright, come. We who gather in this time and space, let us come and worship.
Good morning, First U family. Before we light our chalice today, I do have some sad news to report. We offer our condolences to the family of William Bill F. Nickel, who passed away on June 14th, just before his 94th birthday. Bill and his wife, Rosemarie, joined the church in November of 1965, which is 57 years ago. He immediately began serving on a number of committees. He headed the usher team for a long time, making sure ushers were available for 2 services every Sunday. He also served on the arts committee, organizing a church arts show open to the public. He was a member of the former Forum Committee. He will be sadly missed by Rosemarie and his daughter Vivica, also a lifetime member of the church. Certainly all who knew him will miss him. You may view his obituary in last Friday's e-news, and services will be private.
If you have a chalice at home, we invite you at this time to light the flame along with us. The words for the chalice lighting today are by Francis Kozigar, who is a UU, a young person in Kingston, Ontario, Canada. May we light this chalice this morning to remind us of the power and beauty of balance and contrast. It is darkness that can make the flame a single candle so powerful, and light that deepens those shadows in turn. A chalice flame is the meeting point, the union of the refuge, safety, and incredible beauty of darkness, and the warmth, the assurance, and the joy of light. As we sing our opening hymn, may we rise and then remain standing for our unison affirmation.
I might know you.
share together our affirmation. First Unitarian Church of Wilmington is a beloved community that nourishes minds and spirits, fights injustice, and transforms the world through loving action.
And now, let us head into a quiet time of reflection. Get in a comfortable position. If you can, have your feet flat on the floor and your spine vertical, honoring the natural sway of the spine, curving forward and back, all the way from your head down to your sacrum and hips. Note the position of your head. Is it tilted forward or back? See if you can find that neutral position for your head and spine, and then turn your attention to your breath. If it feels right, close your eyes. Now, imagine that you are floating peacefully in the ocean, safely enjoying the rise and fall of the waves. The sun is shining. The water is a clear blue, and a gentle breeze tickles your face. You start to breathe in time with the waves, inhaling as you are lifted up, and exhaling as the wave softly lets you dip down. Continue this breathing and floating with the waves. Now it's time to come to shore, and you look at the waves that you can ride in. Which wave do you choose? There are others out there in the ocean with you, and you see that others are naming the waves. They are choosing the waves that they ride to shore. There is a wave of peace. There is a wave of discord. There is a wave of equity. There is a wave of inequity. There is a wave of love. What other waves do you see? What wave do you choose? Pick a wave and feel how it gently and safely carries you to shore. Who is there with you? Who else chose the wave that you chose? In your imagination, look around you and nod at your wave partners. Then turn and thank the ocean for holding you and guiding you safely to shore. Let us now hold silence together. From this silence, we turn inward and find we may have concerns, or we may be aware of people who could benefit from the light of this community. In this space, we now name those aloud or silently in our hearts, those who may be struggling or in need of our support. For our online folks, you may choose to write the names in the chat box. Feel free to name names now. The Nickel family. May all those whose names were spoken and those unspoken find peace and healing this day. Today's readings are two brief yet inspiring offerings, the first being a lifelong sharing by Mother Teresa. Love cannot remain by itself. It has no meaning. Love has to be put into action, and that action is service. Whatever form we are, able or disabled, rich or poor, it is not how much we do, but how much love we put in the doing. A lifelong sharing of love with others. And I follow that reading with Margaret Mead's paragraph, "Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it is the only thing that ever has." So greetings, my Unitarian Universalist friends. It's been a long time since I've been up here, and I thank you for your support today, your attention, your presence. I have to say, the idea for this service came to me during our Earth Day Sunday celebration, listening to Dr. Dave Donahue speak about the changing climate and what we could do about it. Do you remember his 2 mini sermons when he got us all to stand up and do squats in between his talks? You remember? Do your thighs remember that? Yes. To refresh our memories, Dr. Dave first spoke about the burning of the earth how temperatures are going up because of our burning of fossil fuels, destruction of the rainforests, how we run animal agriculture in factory farms. We plant acres and acres of monocrops, just soy to feed the animals that we raise purely to eat, or just palm for the palm oil, which is in so many processed foods. Well, that part was the bad news. But then he showed us all these solutions we could promote and participate in with our lifestyle adjustments and some awareness. This was the good news. I was particularly inspired by his discussion of the people in the blue zones. The blue zones are a handful of locations on the planet where members of the population regularly live productive lives beyond 100 years of age. Wow. Raise your hand if you're 100 or older. Nobody here today. Interesting. So the kicker about these blue zones is that most of them are isolated communities. They're islands or the distal end of the peninsula of Costa Rica. And then there's Loma Linda, California, landlocked in a town that is not isolated at all. Scientists thought this was a real head-scratcher until they figured out this is the headquarters of the Seventh-day Adventist Church. Dave showed us this slide that explains a bit about that church and their principles. These principles line up with the 9 guideposts of the Blue Zone communities. Here they are. Belong, right tribe, family first, the 80% rule, and that's consuming until you're 80% full. So my friend's father would say, I've had an elegant sufficiency, as he was declining second helpings for dinner. They continue with purpose, downshift, wine at 5, move naturally, and plant slant. As I was sitting there eating up Dave's talk about healthy eating and healthy moving, I thought, okay, he's tackling the 80% rule, the wine at 5, although I think he advocated grape juice, plant slant, and move naturally principles. He had only one service, and he covered so much. And then I thought, wouldn't it be great to revisit this and look at some of the other principles the Seventh-day Adventists and the Blue Zoners keep, and how we Unitarian Universalists might embrace them in our lives. We are a small group of citizens who are thoughtful and committed. Why can't we change the world? Our inner world, our local world, and our greater world. So here we are. Belong, right tribe, family first, downshift, and purpose. We can do this. We as humans are wired to belong. According to the Mayo Clinic, people who lack a sense of belonging commonly suffer from depression, anxiety, and even may turn to suicide. Belonging is that important for humans. We belong to a family, a school, a workplace, a country, an ethnic group. So many of our labels revolve around belonging. I think at first glance, the Unitarian Universalist idea of belonging is very difficult. We are such an eclectic faith group. Our third principle states that we affirm and promote acceptance of one another and encouragement to spiritual growth in our congregations. Our fourth principle says we affirm and promote a free and responsible search for truth and meaning. Neither of these feels very unifying to me. Both of these principles feel very encouraging that my path as an earth-based practitioner is respected, and that Jim might be on a Buddhist path, and Lakeisha follows Christian beliefs while Jose Luis is atheist. UUs don't say, we affirm acceptance of one another as long as we are all alike. No, We each are encouraged to do our own spiritual work, and that often looks like homework, off on our own. We gather on Sunday for fellowship, for worship, and then we are off to be spiritual warriors of our individual paths. While touching in together on Sundays can be inspiring, thought-provoking, refreshing, and social, how do we know we belong? The fourth principle affirms our free and responsible search for truth and meaning. Period. It stops there, gloriously and maddeningly short of the part where higher-ups might tell us what our creed is. Oh no, each of us is expected to do that work on our own. Unitarian Universalists acknowledge and celebrate that truth and meaning for me can be very different than the truth and meaning for the person to my left or to my right. Does this continue to challenge our sense of belonging? I grew up worshiping with organ music, but now those hymns, for me, they need some wordsmithing for me to be able to sing them. So I'm here singing hymns that my heart and mind can sing peacefully and joyfully, but they're new to me and they're foreign. The music is different, the sanctuary is different. My felt sense of memories from childhood collide with my sensibilities, passions, and beliefs of adulthood. So how do I know I belong here? Who here was raised in a different faith tradition? Wow, more than half. Who here was raised with no organized faith tradition? A handful. Okay, thank you. If you keep coming back here, why is that? Does the nature of our openness and mutual support provide us with all the glue that holds us together? So the second time I walked into this building, I knew I belonged. I can't say how, I just knew. Maybe it was the perfect mix of like-minded people, welcoming smiles, and the familiarity of a formal church service, this time with some different words, that gave me the comfort from my childhood as well as the freedom for me to be me. The first time I walked into this building was Big Music Sunday, and Giovanni Majorano had told me about it, personally inviting me. Reverend Barbara Gaydon preached about Rumi, and I smiled, and I thought, oh, that's how they do it. They go beyond ecumenicalism. And that first visit, easily 10 years before my second, laid the foundation for me so that when I entered the second time, boom, I was home. That's the community that James was talking about in his welcome this morning. Perhaps you feel like you belong here because you feel like Unitarian Universalists are your right tribe. Webster defines tribe in this context as a group of persons having a common character, occupation, or interest. We are the UU tribe, with a common interest in social justice, a goal of world community with peace, liberty, and justice for all, and a respect for the interdependent web of all existence. We affirm the inherent worth and dignity of every person. How many of you caught what I did just there? Did I just throw 3 more of our principles at you? Yes, I did. Upon reading the principles, I know I belong to this tribe, even when the bulk of us move in a direction I know nothing about. I support my tribe. When this church decided to install the Black Lives Matter banner out on 202, I knew embarrassingly little about race relations, white privilege, and the systems in place that perpetuate racist policies and behaviors. But I trusted my right tribe, and I did what I was supposed to do as a Unitarian Universalist. I studied, I researched, and I learned. I am grateful that this church has helped me and continues to educate me on this and other arms of the social justice movement. I am excited and proud that First U has developed robust and wonderful human rights and environmental justice programs, including being named the UUSC Church of the Year. That is amazing. Thank you for bringing that to our attention, James. All of this fuels my sense of right tribe and belonging. So some of my non-UU friends marvel at the concept of Unitarian Universalism. They wonder how on earth we can get anything done. Well, we know that joke. And why would we gather with folks who have differing beliefs? One thing that I believe UUs inherently understand is purpose. In the proposed reworking of our principles into a rainbow flower diagram of shared values with a chalice at the center, there are 6 values lifted up. They are justice, interdependence, equity, transformation, generosity, and pluralism. And they are each connected to the chalice value, which is love. These values are love in action for our faith. They look a lot like purpose to me. If these values jibe with yours, then you are with the right tribe, and you belong. Sure, we may quibble about wording and take another year or 3 to solidify our new bylaws, but that is the pace of a true democracy. And for now, our principles, values, they are galvanizing us together with purpose. So there's one more interpretation of belonging that we should cover, and that is the action it takes to belong. We can theorize that a group is our right tribe, but until we participate, we are not engaging ourselves with our tribe. The Blue Zone communities are known for attending community worship weekly, and this participation adds 4 to 14 years to their lives. They own their belonging, and that is action. That is the action part of belonging. That is what these values express in the values slide, and they are the actions that result from love. Love in action. These are the areas that I feel UUs do really well. We unite for social justice, we support each other, even those with differing beliefs, and we show up for our tribe. Now, the Blue Zone folks also put family first, and they downshift. So how are we doing with these actions? Look at that family of geese. When I first saw the family first category, I cringed because I thought, what about all those people who don't have a family that is loving, they're estranged from their family, or they just weren't born into a family that accepts them? Sure, if we each grew up in a loving household, partnered with a compassionate and understanding soulmate, and had adoring children who behaved all the time, family first would be super easy. But I see this family first guidepost as an offshoot of belonging. Do you have a chosen family? There's a TV series that just ended called A Million Little Things. And that was about a group of 4 men who met serendipitously on the elevator. And then, of course, their partners and their families all joined the story. Over the years, their kids grew up, one of the men got divorced, new people were brought into the fold. But this was not a group of friends. This became a family of unrelated people. They carved out every Friday night to be together. They prioritized their health and their relationships, supporting each other through all the challenges of life, far better than most families I know. Yes, I understand it's the Hollywood version, but they didn't let life carry them away from each other. And I think that's the idea of family first. Who is in your life, related to you or not, that you prioritize, so much so that you consistently carve out time and reserve it? Treasure that time with your family. To me, that's family. Distractions don't disrupt the sacredness of the bond. That's family first. For me, that means doing everything I can at work to free me up so I can see all of my son's games and concert because he's only with me growing up for a short time. He's going to grow up and out, so he's my priority. My friends from college, my neighbors, they have to wait because he is the most important family first person. I'm lucky. I had wonderful examples in my parents who are taking a week away from their church to be here with us today. Thank you for supporting me, Mom and Dad. Hi. How do you elevate your inner circle, your family, to prioritize them? Are we doing a good job of following up with our family when our loved ones experience a loss or a change in health, a major life crisis like a move, a divorce, a job change? Are we plodding along doing the same thing without listening deeply to our loved ones? For me, this is tough because life gets lifey and it's easy to coast without pausing and checking in. On TV, they make it so easy, but those characters, they're always able to drop work or leave their homes when a friend is in need. Maybe, though, we could take notes here. Maybe we could keep those bonds sacred and first, above the distractions. So that final blue zone principle is downshifting. Now I smile as I think of our little meditation time that we share each Sunday here. Reverend Roberta Finkelstein trained me as a worship associate, and she would say, that meditation time is tricky because for some people it feels like an eternity of silence, and for others it's the only stillness they get all week. I have to say, I don't like hearing that. To me, it's so short a time. I wonder if it feels like an eternity for some because they can't downshift comfortably. For the folks who get so little stillness each day, I feel such compassion. Our culture here in the US favors and rewards nonstop action, nonstop consumption. Remember that 80% rule. It can pertain to consumption of goods as well as food. I don't really need that extra pair of shoes. Our culture rewards getting ahead in competition. We can find ourselves living such compressed lives that at a moment's notice can spring apart, causing a chaotic reaction of unending stress. Downshifting can look like a dozen different things, from career to just a daily practice. Taking the time to practice meditation or to be out in nature. Being in nature actually has cognitive, emotional, and existential benefits, according to the American Psychological Association. Better mood, increased attention, improved empathy and cooperation, decreased stress, and a decrease in psychological disorders. Now, this is the part where we would all dash outside and twirl around, getting out in nature, but I knew you wouldn't come back inside, so we're gonna sit tight a little bit longer. Being in nature is a huge part of my downshifting process, but there are so many other ways to step off that hamster wheel of work and family. Yeah, because all that family first commitment can be rewarding and stressful. For some, downshifting means cooking, taking the time to read a really great book, or practicing Tai Chi, Qigong, or yoga. According to Johns Hopkins University, practicing yoga improves heart health, relaxation, energy, it aids sleep, gives a brighter mood, and helps manage stress. This, plus yoga, alleviates a variety of physical aches and pains. Meditation, which comes in hundreds of forms, increases focus, sleep, and mood, and can drop stress and anxiety. Further, it improves self-awareness, all of these according to Healthline Media. So if silence and breathing are not motivating you to participate in meditation and practice, then searching for a chant or even a walking meditation is always an option. The best meditation practice for you is the one you will actually do. Just like the best vegetables to eat are the ones you will actually eat. Okay, so right now, in fact, we're going to downshift with some yogic breathing. Now, you might be saying, I'm relaxed, just sitting here. But no, you're concentrating, I hope. And your focus is outward, not inward. So let's shift that for a few moments. You may stay seated, or if you want to stand up, go ahead. Let's agree, though, that if you feel lightheaded or woozy, you'll sit and breathe normally. The movement is easy. Arms up and down. Now, if the whole arm is too heavy, just do the forearms. Easy peasy. Just practice that movement without tiring yourself out. That's easy, right? Now, the trick is to do this movement with your breath. So as you inhale, you reach the top of your arms at the top of your breath, and then you exhale the bottom of your exhale at the bottom of your arm movement. The breath starts and your arms go up, and your exhale starts and your arms go down. You match the pace of inhalation to the pace of your arm motion. Now, let's do that a few times, but I do not want to see you all moving at the same pace because you all breathe at different rates. So, if we can get the ballet dancers up on the screen. The ballet dancers, see how they're all in unison? No. I want to see arms moving at all different paces. All right. So I'm going to step out here so you can see. Do 5 or 6. Oh, you're doing so well. There's arms moving all over the place. Very good. One last one, finish up. Now, how was that? How do you feel? Do you feel different? Take an inventory of how you feel different. Can you feel the difference between focusing outwardly, like listening to a sermon or watching TV, and focusing inwardly? Just because you were sitting down does not mean you were downshifting. You could be working a full day at the computer, and I guarantee you that is not downshifting. You might actually play a sport to downshift. You could be outside, social, enjoying yourself. Those are great allies in the downshifting journey. One more idea I want to mention is journaling. This is introspective, or it can be a really wonderful way to recap a day or an event. Journal so you can find out what you really think. Sometimes I'm not sure how I feel until I start handwriting something down. For me, typing doesn't count. Doesn't work as journaling. Perhaps it's the screen, maybe it's the act of typing instead of writing and forming the letters. Journaling. I know Reverend Larry also runs a poetry workshop in a small group. Poetry is a tool for wellness. That's different from journaling, but it sounds so nourishing for the soul, like it would be a great method of downshifting. So to recap, there are 9 guideposts of the healthiest of healthy humans, and we can follow a roadmap for radiant health. The first batch of these 9 was covered in depth on April 23rd, 2023 by Dave Donahue, and you can rewatch that anytime on YouTube for a refresher on these topics, which are plant slant, wine or grape juice at 5, the 80% rule, and move naturally. That's our cue to get up and stretch or dance during our closing hymn. So move naturally. Today we covered the other guidepost, which is right tribe, family first, downshifting, purpose, and belonging. So now we scatter into our individual lives. We explore these blue zone principles that lead to radiant health and longevity. Look at those radiant members of our congregation. Think how much change we can affect if we all lived vibrant and vigorous lives into and beyond our 90s. Imagine what good we could do if we were healthy as we aged, keeping infirmity at bay through some simple, though for some, maybe extensive lifestyle changes. Maybe you already embraced many of these tenets, and if so, thank you for showing us it's possible. Perhaps during our coffee time after the service in Parish Hall, we can share our success stories for what helps us connect with others, connect in our own inner world, and how we downshift in a meaningful way. So in closing, I look forward to seeing you all when we schedule our next vegan potluck, where we can eat healthy foods with a plant slant, help our bodies and our environment, dining with our right tribe, where we belong, united in purpose, focused on all of our UU principles of love in action. I'll see you then.
There are three kinds of giving. Oh yeah, there might be a list with more than that. But three kinds of giving, and I think just about every gesture of giving we make will fit into one of these three. You have to. It's a requirement. Have you ever been a member of a group that has dues? So, have you ever paid your taxes? You have to. It's a gift, but you have to do it. A second, you ought to. Perhaps a duty. Maybe you've made a commitment. And in order to maintain your own self-respect and integrity, you must follow through. There's a responsibility, a duty. Maybe you're an alumnus of a college or university. They appeal to this sense of duty when they ask you for a contribution. Or the local police or fire company. We get those invitations to contribute each year, maybe more than once. Or even a restaurant tip. Should it be 18%? Should it be 20%? Wow, this server was really good. Maybe it should be 25%. I ought to do that. The ought, duty, maybe even obligation, gift. But of course, there's the third. You want to. You want to make that gift. You're motivated in some way, inspired, perhaps, grateful, perhaps, to make the gift. Grateful maybe for something somebody's done for you and you want to make a gift in response. Or, as Kate has been talking about, maybe you want to give because of your sense of belonging, the connectedness, support for that which is important to you, integral to you, that you love. This is the offering time. There are baskets in the back for those of you in the room, clearly marked church donations. Frankly, I don't care which of these three cause you to respond to the basket. Hopefully it would be the third. You have to, you ought to, or you want to. But in just a moment, the opportunity to give, if you're not in this room, will appear on the screen. Various ways to support the ministry and the work and the community of First Unitarian Church of Wilmington. Now, would you join with me, please, in dedicating our offering to the work of this congregation, which is weaving a tapestry of love and action. We dedicate our lives and these our offerings. If you have a candle at home, a chalice, we invite you to extinguish it now with us here in the sanctuary as I read these words again by Francis Cozier. May this act of extinguishing our chalice this morning remind us that we are stronger together in all the complexities and disagreements of relationship because we are different and because we are one.
Be ours a religion which, like sunshine, goes everywhere. Its temple, all space. Its shrine, the good heart. Its creed, all truth. Its ritual, works of love. Its profession of faith, divine living. Now, please rise in body or spirit and sing our closing hymn with me, hymn number 121, with the words appearing on the screen.
Oh
you.